LIT, you know she lit. Sure said she wanna take pics. All she really talk about is bust down. Baby, take a look at mine. If I told you I spent last call.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about universities today. So when I did my poll on Instagram for people to choose which video I should film next, a lot of people came for me saying, oh, uni isn't a scam, uni isn't a scam. So obviously I'm here to like explain what I meant by that. Obviously the title made it seem very one-sided, like, oh, I'm just completely against uni. Like, obviously there are pros to university, and if you need a degree, go and get your degree. But I do believe that there are a lot of overlooked cons to university that people just brush under the carpet and they don't even think of. We're just applying for applying's sake. Oh, best years of your life, but is it the smartest decision for you to make in the present term? I'll link the article that I'm reading from in the description. Do your research, write down the pros and cons for yourself personally, because everyone's pros and cons are going to be different. This video is going to be very general, and I might be slipping into like the financy side and what it means for people that are going into corporate finance. My pros and cons are going to be different to that of somebody going into medicine. Like, there's nothing to debate basically with that type of person. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram to be involved with like the polls and stuff. Obviously the first point is the huge cost. So it actually costs £9,000 a year to go to uni, and everyone's at uni, or majority of the people at uni, for 3 years, some people 4 years, and you pay £9,000 for each year. But yeah, obviously the huge cost is like the main factor for anybody that wants to consider uni. They're always thinking about it. It's always going to be on your mind that you have to pay this 27,000. Obviously you don't actually pay the 27,000 because you get a loan. Most people get a student loan, but you have to pay the student loan back with interest. So in 2005, 1 year of university was worth £3,000, but by 2012, it had actually tripled. But in terms of the value that was being provided and like the things you were being taught, that was not being tripled or anything. Usually when you're paying a high price for something, you expect some sort of increase in value, some sort of increase in quality of the product that you're paying for, but this is not the case in universities. The next point to consider is also the amount of time it takes you to complete your degree. Like I said, most people are at university for 3 to 4 years, depending on if you take a sandwich year or a placement year. And obviously it begs the question why your lectures are so spaced out, because I'm sure you could complete a degree in 2 years if you actually went to class every single day. So the article says that's how they space out the terms and stuff, so they can increase the length of time students are studying, so they can charge them for longer periods of time than actually required, because it's actually not necessary. For me anyways, I don't believe that 4 years is necessary. You don't even go to lectures every single day. You have like 3-4 lectures a week. Why can I not have, or at least a lesson every other day or a lesson every single day, so that I can pay less money? So the next point is that universities are meant to help you stand out from the crowd, differentiate yourself. But if every single person applying for the job that you're applying for has a degree, there's no differentiation there. That's literally the theory of supply and demand. If everybody has it, it's not valuable. What does set you apart is work experience, and you can obviously easily get work experience in uni. You can do internships and placements and spring weeks and all of that. Now for me, the biggest point of this entire video would have to be the interest rate and the debt itself. First of all, this is the biggest point for me, and this is the point that a lot of people, pretty much everyone, just overlooks and just disregards. The way that university works, for those that don't know who are watching the video and you're not like well informed or anything, the day you start getting payments is when your interest is accrued. So from your very first year of university, you're paying interest on the money that you're getting loaned. If you do go to university for 1 year and you drop out, you're still paying back the first year. The money has still been paid to the institution, so you're still gonna have to pay it back on your behalf. There's 2 plans for student loan. There's plan 1 and plan 2. And the plan 1 people are basically people that studied before a certain year, I think 2012, but I'm pretty sure that people that started before 2012 have I think a lower interest rate. You start making payments after your income is at a certain level. For plan 2 students, the threshold is 27,000. And another positive is that you don't make your repayments on your entire income. You only make your repayments on the amount that exceeds the threshold. So if the threshold, for example, is exactly 27,000 and you are making 30,000, you would only pay 9% of the £3,000 that's over 27k. 9% is just the repayment rate. Like, you repay 9% of your income. It's like a normal tax, but it's not a tax, it's a debt. Obviously it will be different in monetary terms, but the percentage that you pay back is the same for everyone over the threshold. Obviously somebody that's earning lower will be paying less. Somebody that's earning higher will be paying more. Then the interest rates happen. The interest rates at the time that I'm making this video is 5.6. In the article that I'm going to reference, it's 5.4, but now 2021 it's 5.6. The interest rate is actually compounded. What that means is that let's say you're paying, I hate doing maths. Let's say for example, you have 10% interest on a £20,000 degree, right? 10% of 20,000 is £2,000. So that's £2,000 a year. They've done the first year and they've added £2,000 to your £20,000 degree. The next year's come, they're not doing 10% of £20,000 anymore, they're doing 10% of £22,000. So you're having to pay back more essentially, because they're not just calculating interest based off the principal, they're compounding it. The interest is making it a larger amount that you have to pay back, and the longer you take to pay it back, the more money you'll be paying back, because the longer you take to pay it back, that interest is still running, and more time the interest is increasing every single year. Obviously, everyone just says, oh, after 30 years it'll be written off, blah, 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 which is fine for some people. But then obviously you have to consider the income that you hope to achieve for yourself, because if you're putting yourself in the bracket of people that are never going to make more than 40k, obviously there's no point in you paying back your student loan, because it is probably chicken change. There are student loan calculators that will calculate for you how much of your student loan you'll actually pay back before it's wiped off in 30 years. If you don't think you're going to earn more than 40k in your life, you can stick with the student loan. But for me, in finance, let's say, for example, I decide to become an investment banking analyst, and investment banking analysts are known for starting salaries of £50,000. Number one, I'm already over the threshold on my first year after uni, like 27k, 50k. I'm paying 9% of £25,000. Guys, when I did the calculation, I was scared of how much I would be repaying. Thousands, tens of thousands of pounds. What for? When you can pay 27,000 in the first few years of your job. The thing is, if I'm starting on a salary of 50k, I can easily pay back that £27,000. 50k, not even including bonuses, because in finance, obviously they get bonuses as well. And sometimes the bonus can be double your base salary. So if, let's say, one year I make £75,000, you think I'm not going to give student finance their money back? You think I'm actually not going to do that? You think I'm going to let this be going on because it's only 9%? Don't listen to only 9%, because 9% of something is still money. It's not 9% of nothing. It's 9% of something is still change. And the higher your income, the more you're going to pay back. So obviously, when you're thinking of the pros and cons of university, you would like to consider alternatives and the opportunity cost of the decision you're going to make at the end of the day. You're making this decision. What have you missed out on from an alternative decision that you could have made at that time? An alternative of going to uni, you would actually be going straight into work. So if you were to not go to uni and you were to enter the workplace immediately after 4 years and putting yourself beside somebody that's gone to university, you would have so much more experience than them. You would probably get some qualifications, because sometimes industry specific qualifications are more recognized or better appreciated than a degree. Not all the time, but definitely sometimes. And obviously money is always a determining factor, or not a determining factor, sorry, is always a factor to be considered. Even not by going straight into the workplace. An apprenticeship is still some sort of higher education, because there are higher level apprenticeships. So by doing that, you've got an experience, and you've also got an earnings, and you're specialized in your industry. Another thing that people like to consider is that university is the best years of your life. It's best for making friends, joining clubs, all of that sort of thing, you know, freedom, independence. But at the end of the day, is it worth the cost of the degree? Then there's a side of self-awareness, because are you aware in yourself to know that you're actually going to be able to study when you need to study? Because a lot of university is actually self-teaching, and they don't tell you this. You think you're going to go to lectures 3 times a week and you're going to know everything that you need to know. Of course not. You need to be in the library, you need to be studying in your room. Are you going to push yourself to do that? Are you going to be motivated? Are you going to be productive with the time that you have at university? Or are you just going to have fun? Obviously, the article then mentions that there are a lot of successful people that haven't been to uni. So yeah, I agree. A degree does not determine your success. It's definitely helpful in terms of the industry that you want to go to. In some industries, it might not even be necessary, you know. Another good point that this article has made is the difference in a lot of degrees. A lot of degrees require different teachings, different materials, different technologies, different facilities in general. So how do all degrees cost the same price? And obviously it makes sense that we're subsidizing other people's degrees. It definitely gives you a competitive edge, so that would be a positive. Just to throw a few positives in here so I don't sound too biased, but it definitely gives you an edge over people that don't have a degree, because it shows that you've committed yourself to higher education. But it doesn't guarantee you a job when you leave uni. There's nothing to promise you that you will get a job. And in 2015, a study showed that 6 out of 10 graduates were still working in low-skilled jobs, because there wasn't enough high-skilled vacancies. So just definitely consider that in your decision-making process. A statistic from the article that I'm reading says about 83% of graduates are forecast to have some of their debt written off under the current system. And this means that only 17% of students will fully repay their student loan. 17% probably being the higher earners. So obviously the fact that they're writing off these debts still exist. They're just going to be paid differently. So the article kind of refers to the fact that future generations will have to pay this in taxes, which is just again a thinking point. It's not really sustainable for people to be going to university when they don't need to be going to university, which is why I really appreciate the rise in apprenticeships in different sectors. When I was looking for apprenticeships, I was seeing different sectors. I was seeing such a variety of apprenticeships. I was thinking like, wow, these guys are really stepping up. I feel like as a generation, we're just not really taking it into account. We're just not making the right decisions. We're not sitting down and evaluating before we make a decision. You need to evaluate your choices in the real world. Like when I was looking for apprenticeships, I saw nursing apprenticeships, paralegal apprenticeships, engineering apprenticeships, tax, it's kind of under finance, business administration, business management, things like that. Like there were so many apprenticeships out there. Obviously I made it clear that the deal breaker for me was the interest. It's just not attractive considering the trajectory I have for my income in the future. Once you sit down and evaluate the pros and cons, obviously there are a lot of pros to university. What are they? You could say, yeah, okay, best 3 years of your life, making friends, socializing, that's a pro for some people. You could say it is somewhat of a differentiator. But then again, it's a differentiator, but if everyone is joining a graduate scheme, and to join a graduate scheme you need a degree, what's really differentiating you? Anyways, the video is coming to an end because it's just so at the end of the day, if anyone's pressuring you, it's not them that's going to write the exam, it's not them that's going to study for you, it's not them that's going to be motivating you while you're alone in your accommodation being depressed and drinking Indomie. It's like,
how could I make such a
maintenance loan is not covering. Like, don't be fooled and be thinking, oh yeah, they're going to pay you to live. They are not paying you anything. When I first saw the amount for maintenance loan, that was when I was actually really turned off, because I was like, what? Huh? I'm pretty sure it's like 1.2k a term, and a term is 3 months, babe, I think. Don't quote me because I didn't go. Like, what am I actually going to do with 1.2 shillings? Okay, I understand that obviously it's not in London, and obviously everything's a bit cheaper in the Midlands or wherever you go to university, but 1.2, baby, that's not even enough to cover people's rents. I'm thinking, wait, where do you want me to get the rest of the money from, please? Because
stop wasting your time, stop wasting your good time, because that is where you go wrong.
It's just not making sense. So you guys really need to think about it before you make such a decision. Again, don't be pressured, do your research. Like, I'm going to link the article below, but there's like so much more research to be done in terms of universities and stuff. Read your course content so you know that you actually like the degree, the course. Speak to people that have gone to the university, find out that the university is good, things like that. But for me, when it comes to finances, that's one thing that can just turn me off. And hearing all of these money, but the money isn't adding up. Nah. Follow me on Instagram so you can be involved in my future polls in terms of what videos I should film, comments and video ideas, because I'm actually running out of video ideas, but I've actually filmed a lot. Yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video.
LIT, you know she lit. Sure she wanna take pics. All she really talk about is bust down, baby, take a look at mine. If I told you I spent last quarter